The clip that I'm about to show you here is, in my opinion, the most despicable moment from the moderators during the presidential debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Trump's performance was average, but he was strong on foreign policy and foreign leadership. And in this segment here, Trump gets into the Afghanistan withdrawal, highlights his strengths and the failures of the Biden-Harris administration. After Trump is finished, though, instead of pressing Harris to respond and defend herself, listen to what the moderator does. This is, again, despicable.
If you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, you know, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal and, in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people.
Trump eviscerates Harris on Afghanistan, and instead of having Harris defend herself and her record, the moderator says, okay, I want to move on. Let's look at the big picture. Why do you think Kamala Harris is not black? This is a joke. And instead, Kamala Harris gets to comment on how sad that it is that Donald Trump doesn't think she's black, and goes on to condemn Trump for dividing Americans up by race, which is precisely the tactic that she and the Democratic Party since Barack Obama have engaged heavily in. This is prop up bullshit from unethical, biased moderators who have an agenda, and that was to make Kamala Harris look like the smooth, empathetic character that she is in fact not, and trip up Trump. The moderators fact-checked, pushed back, even engaged in their own debates with Trump over things that were actually true, like the cases of pets being killed by migrants in Ohio. And then, when Kamala Harris lies out of her teeth, they responded with, "Thank you, Vice President Harris."